you for watching our girls. I wanted to make a video more about Doom and expressing her for you. And she just ate, so I'm gonna actually give her some peanut butter, and that way she'll get distracted. So normally I do this while she's eating, but since we just fed her, I'm gonna do it with peanut butter up to the side, and then I do have Ghost and Bootsy in their cage, so that way they're away and they don't try to steal her peanut butter. But the very first thing that we're gonna do is get everything ready. So I have a pad right here. I have another pad, and this is gonna be what you wanna use, like just so it doesn't splatter all over you, and it'll help with the mess. And then I also have some sanitary wipes for just wiping down if it does splatter everywhere. And then I do have another wipe for wiping her down too. So to start, you always wanna start with an ice cube, and you're gonna put it right up to her butt. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna make her poop, because when she poops, it's a lot easier to express her because there's less gas in her stomach. So when you do it, just take an ice cube, put it right up to her, and I usually do it for like 10 to 15 seconds at a time. And then I do this every morning, every time that they have their lunch, and then at the end of the night too. And you can tell she has to go because she'll start farting, and then she also will start squeezing. All right, now that she's gone poop, I'm gonna go ahead and get her ready to be expressed. And so you know, right now, I'm not actually holding her up. She's just leaning really against me. She can stand on her own. But I have the pad over me, so it helps with the splatter. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my hand, I'm gonna start at her ribs, and I'm going to put my hand and get closer and closer to the very back of her. When you have your hand, you're not just gonna have it flat, you're actually gonna have it tilted like this. And then when you go to her ribs, you're gonna stay like this, but then when you get past her ribs, you're gonna start tilting it this way. And so what you wanna do is find her bladder, and it feels like a balloon. But if you were just to keep your hand flat and start squeezing, if you had a balloon, it's the same concept where if you squeezed it right in the middle, it would just like slip out. So that's why we want to tilt it just a little to catch it. And then what I'm going to do is go like this and just squeeze. And so I'll show you from this angle too. You just squeeze it like this. And for me, it's really hard for me to use my thumb like that. It's painful, so I don't do it that way. I actually have to use my fingers and my palm. And so I can feel her bladder right on the fingertips and then right against here, and I just start squeezing. And then as we start getting more of her urine out, we're gonna squeeze tighter and tighter, and then I usually have to adjust and do it a couple times. All right, so I'm starting at her rib, and then right here, I can actually feel her stomach, and it's right after her ribs, so it's not even near her bladder. Her bladder is gonna be like right behind her leg. But I'm gonna press, get past that, and then right here I can feel her bladder. And so I'm gonna actually use my top hand just to steady her as well. And then I'm gonna put some pressure, start squeezing, and then she'll start going. I'm gonna do it again. Start at her ribs, get past her stomach, and I can feel her bladder. And so every single time I express her, I always do it multiple times. I've never been able to get it all at once. And so when you do it, it's probably gonna be the same. And also, if it's a little difficult at first, that's normal too. Once you get the hang of it, it's really easy, but you just gotta get comfortable with it. And then another thing is, you are gonna be pressing pretty firm. When I started doing this, I just didn't press hard enough, and I was so afraid of hurting her. All right, now after she's gone, I'm just gonna take one of my wipes, wipe her down, and just make sure that you're paying attention to her vulva. And you do wanna go ahead and just do a wipe down of her legs just in case anything's splattered. And then I'm gonna take a wipe. And then the next thing, I just wrap everything up And we have the trash can in the garage, so that way it's separate and it doesn't stink up the whole house. So the next thing I'm gonna do is do her workouts. And I wanted to show you how much peanut butter I give her at a time. So I don't even use the actual scoop, I use the back of it. Yes, I know. And so that's how much I give her at a time, just so she doesn't scarf through it right away. And then all I do is just push it in here. Will you move? All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is her bicycles. And this is where I went ahead and grabbed the bath mat. It's actually right next to, right out of camera, but it's always right next to the mat. And all you're gonna do is take her leg and we're gonna put it behind her, that way she bends it. And then we're gonna put it to the front just as if she were riding a bicycle. And we wanna hold it for about 10 seconds at a time. And then extend it all the way. We don't wanna rush while we're doing it. We do wanna take it slow. But when we go like this, you do wanna press her paw against the bath mat and she's gonna start kicking, which is what we want. And we're gonna do this on both legs. And then I always keep my hand under her just to stabilize her a little bit. I know that can be really tiring, especially when we go slower. And then also when you do this, it is easier when you push her leg or you pull her leg back. Because if you do it not all the way pulled back, like, she won't really bend it. So the next exercise is not really an exercise, it's really just getting her skin, I guess, stimulated. And so all we gotta do is just massage her, and she loves it. So I do this all around her back, on her legs, and just all over. And you're not really petting, you're actually pressing pretty firmly. And then what this does is it just helps her circulation, and it'll keep her skin elastic, because if she doesn't do this, her skin ends up becoming stiff and it's harder for her to walk. The other exercise is something I do when we are laying down. What I do is just one by one, I take her toes and you just hold it one way and then you push it all the way back. And all we're doing is just one toe at a time. And this is gonna help her with her skin and just help her nerves get fired too. And then next, after we do her toes individually, we're gonna do all of her toes at once and just bend them down and bend them forward. And then normally you do wanna hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds at a time. That's also why I do it when we're watching TV or something. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move up, and we want to do this with her ankle as well. And so I found that when we push her leg back a little bit, she's more apt to do it. Extend her ankle and bend it as much as we can. It's a lot easier when she's laying down. When she's standing, she just pushes the whole time. And then we're also gonna do it with her knee. Bend it, extend it, bend it, extend it, and then we're going to do it with her hip as well. We're going to do this both sides, and then this is something I just do multiple times a day. I don't really count how much I do it, I just do it. So just whenever you're watching TV or there's downtime or she's laying down, just kind of mess with her legs constantly. And then the last exercise, it's not really an exercise, it's just having her stand. Basically constantly you want to have her stand just to build up the muscle as much as possible. I have scarves up here, and so what you want to do is just take a scarf, put it under her belly, and so when you're walking around the house you can do this. When you go outside you can do this as well, and you just hold it. And so you still want her feet touching the ground. You don't want to lift her completely off, because the whole point is getting her to walk. When it comes to her going outside, you just got to be careful, because even this little lip, even though it's just a couple inches off the ground, it is too high. So usually I'll carry her out, and then I'll put the sling under her belly and then kind of walk her around. Also, I did empty out the pool for them, so if you want, you can totally fill it, but that's up to you. The one thing to remember is that Ghost loves to jump in it randomly, so if you have her go potty, she might come in the house soaking wet, so just be aware of that. In the laundry room, I have them right when you walk in, And so this is basically Doom's cupboard. And I have pads here, more pads here, more wipes, and then I also have disinfecting wipes too. And then I also have pumpkin in the fridge for them. And so with pumpkin, I just give them like a little scoop of it each, just to give them a little bit of a treat. So that's for the girls. Thank you again for watching our girls.